everyone to episode 103. 103 of Triple Threat Talk.
Don't you dare count to 103 like that. We'll be here all day.
Right before we went on air, Big B and PostMaster here were having a count off for with Sesame Street and the count.
Hey man,
you're a little bit old to be doing it.
Hey man,
fellas.
Sesame Street taught me some things, like how to count, and
that being gay is not a bad thing.
And sometimes people can have addictions to cookies, and
one of these things just doesn't belong here.
All right, enough.
Anyways, I'm Gary the Dr. Locker, joined as always by Big B, Brandon DeMiro, Postmaster, Mr. Jimmy Biggers, who is currently getting some notes for a story a little bit later on.
Welcome
so
back.
You'll excuse him if he doesn't look at the camera. We don't want him to
Welcome
anyways.
back,
Break.
fella.
How's it going, guys?
Welcome back.
How was the show last week?
It went by swimmingly, I think.
Swimmingly, huh?
Swimmingly.
So not like
Fast.
fast.
But anyways, well, since you're taking notes, you still want to do...
No, I got you covered.
As usual, as always, we'll start off with views or questions. Take us away.
Take it away. We'll do it live.
Live and location.
We'll do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
We haven't even started yet, and we've already got a viewer calling.
And I said we'll do it live.
Wow.
You know what it is?
What?
We should probably answer it. It could be an important phone call.
Could be.
It's a Triple Threat Talk. Come on now.
From the Bucking Five. Even though you did not like the Hall of Fame announcement, what did you think of Slammiversary?
I did not watch Slammiversary, so these two will answer your question.
What did I think of Slammiversary?
Awful. It was crap.
Yeah.
Garbage.
There were times where we were watching it and I was falling asleep.
I felt like I was watching a rerun of Ryback.
We thought we were watching. We got confused. We were like, I know Ryback was wrestling. I didn't know that. I was confused. Yeah, we were talking back and forth about it. He wasn't here last week to discuss it, but we were kind of confused that they decided to induct Kurt Angle, who was more known for being WWE than for TNA. And and TNA wants to be this company where they want to get away from the misconception where most of their talent is, WWE people that have been released, but instead they induct two people from the last people that is Sting. Sting is more known for being WCW, and now Kurt Angle is being known for being WWE. And bottom line, I mean, we watched Slammiversary, and it was a bore. I mean, Sting versus Bully Ray was pretty much a reverse squash match, to be honest with you. And I know they wanted to do like a factor to get people watching and talk about, but the thing they did with pulling the ring up and pile driving him straight on the ring like that is just stupid. Like, I guess they want to push the envelope, and that's fine, but in this day you just can't do that anymore. Surprisingly, the best match tonight was the women's match. Kurt Angle and AJ should have been the best, but they had a bad ending. So, anything else?
No, I think you pretty much covered it. Like I said, it was pretty much, it wasn't good at all. I think the one match that could have been good, AJ and Kurt Angle, it was a bad ending, and that just ruined it. So.
And then one thing before we go to the next question, except for the X Division match, every single match on that card had an XWB person in it. That has to stop. You're not WCW or TNA. Be different. Come on.
Exactly. Also from the Bucking Five, with Tebow going to the Patriots, how much of a great team do you think him and Brady will make?
Are we answering that now or saving it for later?
We're going to say that one for later.
All right, so we're not ignoring it. We're just ignoring it for now.
For now. Also from the Bucking Five.
Another one.
Do you think that adding Curtis Axel to the match at Payback to replace an injured Fandango was the right thing to do, or should they have just made it a one-on-one match instead?
It's no secret that Fandango would have won on Sunday. I think they were heading that direction. Unfortunately, another good wrestler gets taken. Well, not a good wrestler, but anyway. Another guy gets taken out by concussion. This is getting interesting. I mean, CM Punk got taken out. Now Fandango, I heard like a Diva got taken out with the concussion. So they need to really...
You need to quit drinking the water.
Something's going on with the concussions up there. But, I think, I was talking to Postmaster before the show aired, and it's evident that they're really trying to push Curtis Axel because him and Michael McGillicuddy, let's face it, the only thing he did was win the tag titles. It was in New Nexus. So now he's with Paul Heyman. He's more reputable. He's more looked at as a more well-developed superstar because of who he's with. It is a little early to put him in a title match, but, I mean, it's tough for Curtis Axel because his dad was one of the greatest of all time in terms of a guy who never won the world title. So, are they going to give him the world title eventually? That remains to be seen, but I think this Sunday they're going to put the belt on him, and I think that's going to help Because again, I think him being with Paul Heyman definitely helps his cause, and I think Wade Barrett's had it long enough, and I don't think they're going to put on the Miz, to be honest with you. So I think Curtis Axel, I think he would have had it eventually, but I think right now the spot he's in, he's going to win it. So
I think Curtis Axel's probably going to take the belt on Sunday as well. I don't really so much like him as being a replacement for Fandango, but I think something is going on with that. I think everybody still likes Fandango. I think he's still over. But we don't know what's going on. They say it's a concussion. We don't really know for sure.
It's one of those things.
But, I think whatever they do is what they decide to do. They might do Curtis Axel this time, and then next pay-per-view have another triple threat match between him, Fandango, and Wade Barrett to get his rematch. So.
I agree. I think Fandango probably would have won if he was in the match. I still say probably more than likely Curtis Axel will probably win. They're very high on him, obviously, even though they weren't technically clean finishes. He does have 2 wins over Triple H.
If you look at the record book,
and he beat John Cena, so he's undefeated against 2 of the best. So
they're W's.
Way to look at it.
They're W's.
W's a W. From Against All Odds 20. Have you guys ever thought about doing a stream of Triple Threat Talk?
We have. And if you don't know what a stream is, basically the show would be live, which is a good Lord, how that would be. Well, this is live anyway, pretty much. This is edited down with commercials in it, so basically the same thing.
So it's not the same thing.
Well, it's basically the same thing because we don't film for like 2 hours and the show's cut down to a half an hour. It's not like that or anything. It's pretty much straight talking. So it'd be similar. It would be up. It would be as it happens. It would be broadcast. The thing about streaming, I don't know how it would work with stuff I have, if it would work or not. I mean, because you have to, again, if you're like, for example, most people stream like video games on streaming websites like Twitch and Ustream and stuff like that. So they have like a capture device to be able to capture the the gameplay and obviously if they're going to do commentary on or whatever they're doing, there's an option for that. This, honestly, I think you could just, again, maybe pull up some kind of recording program or something and just start talking. I don't know how it would work. We'd have to look more into it if that's something we would go for.
What do you think?
I don't really know much about the technical stuff. I'll leave that to Big B.
I'm kind of with you. Big B's the technical guru of the 3, so we let him handle his due diligence.
I mean, would I like to be live? Heck yeah, I'd like to be live. Who doesn't want to be live?
We'll do it live. I'll do it live.
Hey, Triple Threat Talk? Yeah, you guys are live. What?
It's Triple Threat Talk live with musical guest Mike Hayes and your host Dean.
All right, Ernie.
You are looking live.
All right, anyway.
At Triple Threat Talk.
You are.
All right.
From the Jeffrey Caster. What do you think about Rampage Jackson joining TNA?
Oh my God.
And where do you think he will go in the future?
Okay.
Nowhere.
So, Dixie Carter puts out this huge news statement that we have a big signing to come to TNA. Everyone's like, is it MVP? Is it Batista? Who is it? Quentin Rampage Jackson.
Okay, he's a movie star. He was in the A-Team.
Well, okay. He was before that. It's not like that means anything. It was terrible.
The movie was awesome. How dare you?
I like Liam Neeson, but that was one of his weaker ones. Anyway,
It was hilarious.
Liam Neeson's 6 to Taken. Well, not Taken 2.
It was awesome.
Taken 2 was pretty bad. But anyway, he is
It's not bad.
Heard it wasn't that great.
Actually pretty good.
What, A-Team?
Taken 2.
Taken 2.
Taken 2 was good.
Taken 1's obviously better. But anyway, back to this.
You haven't seen Taken 2 yet.
I have not.
So you can't say Taken 1's better without seeing Taken 2.
I heard Taken 2 was bad.
So you told me yourself you don't always listen to what everybody says.
Well, I told you this afternoon. I told you before the show. I said Burt Wonderstone bombed. You said it did, and you didn't see it either.
But you know it bombed.
Well, so Taken.
Can we circle back on track, please?
Yes, we can. Anyway,
Jeez.
thank you.
Crackers,
You're really
you're
interrupted.
annoying.
Really interrupted. Anyway.
You're annoying.
He's past his prime in terms of UFC. His last fight he got completely worked over, and now he's going to be in TNA. I don't see him really doing much, to be quite honest. I mean, is it a gimmick thing, or is he really there? Is he really going to start? I mean, they have King Mo, who's working his way up.
King Mo,
and he hasn't. I think he's been there maybe once or twice on TNA. I don't know why. I mean, he's still in good shape, which is a good thing, I guess, in that sense. But he just seems like when he was moving the last time he was in the octagon, he was moving very slow. He wasn't really in UFC shape. So I mean, TNA wants to sign him, more power to them to sign someone that's very popular and was a good fighter at one time. We'll see what
You know what else is slow? You finishing this thought.
Just adding logs to the fire here. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, he was a good talent back when he was in the Octagon. We'll see what happens with him.
I feel like I'm watching a Ryback program.
Put another log in the fire. Put the log in the fire.
You know, I don't know what they're doing hiring this guy. I think they looked at his performance in the A team and said, you know, maybe we can do something with him. Maybe we can have him fight King Schmo. It's King Schmo. But anyways.
King Schmo. Joe Schmo.
But anyways, maybe they're going to do something productive with him. Maybe they won't. They probably won't because TNA just drops the ball. We talk about it constantly.
Kind of like old man in the nursing home.
Yeah, it's like, here, hold this bottle cap.
Okay.
Oh, wait, you can't. Yeah, exactly.
I got it for a second, then I just dropped it.
Yeah, so it's...
That's a bad
they're probably not going to be able to use Quentin Jackson how they should.
And why did he start his debut against Kurt Angle in the ring?
It doesn't matter.
Kurt Angle's not young either. Come on, guys.
Also from the Jeffrey Caster.
This match brought to you by Celebrex.
Yes. Do you honestly see CM Punk coming back at Payback to face Jericho?
Yes!
Because I have a feeling it's not going to be Punk,
Yes!
but Brock Lesnar
No!
facing Jericho at Payback.
It's going to be CM Punk. It's there in Chicago.
Brock Lesnar facing Chris Jericho.
Why would Bork Laser be fighting Chris Jericho?
Bork Laser.
Yes.
If you know why,
it's going to be CM Punk.
If you don't know why I did this, look up Bork Laser. You'll see why.
It's going to be CM Punk.
It's going to be CM Punk. It's in his hometown. He's probably going to win because it's in his hometown. You missed the camera completely on that throw.
Now, you guys used to yell at me when I did that. How come he gets away with it?
What?
When I used to crumple up my notes and throw them?
Well, you know why we get mad at you for doing that?
Why?
Because later on you would need them back.
This is true.
No, it's
this
totally
is true.
I know what you're talking about.
This is true.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Continue with what you're talking about.
I was going to say, it's CM Punk, it's his hometown. I just don't see Brock Lesnar facing him at this point. And plus, they don't think they have Brock Lesnar booked for that pay-per-view. I think they only have him for a certain amount of dates, and this is not one of them.
Right, I agree.
No, I totally think that it's going to be CM Punk.
I mean, there's no reason why it shouldn't be.
I think it's going to be...
For all the reasons he said.
By the way, you signed this match that says CM Punk is your opponent, but it doesn't matter. Here's Bork Laser.
No, it's going to be Michael Jordan, another Chicago name.
No, it's going to be Harry Carey.
It's going to be Dennis Rodman.
He's dead.
Okay, Ryan Sandberg.
Welcome to the match.
No. Holy cow, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are at beautiful Wrigley Field.
What the heck?
And the whole city of Chicago just turned us off.
Oh, well, that's okay. Who needs them, right?
Who needs them?
So with that, it's time to anoint the viewer of the week.
It is time.
The Bruins don't need them.
Last night.
I guess since I wasn't here last week, I'll anoint this week. And since his question caused Big B to go on a Ryback type rant, I will anoint Jeffrey Caster as this week's episode 103. So, Jeffrey Caster, you, my friend, thanks for giving us some nap time on this week's episode 103, Viewer of the Week.
I almost said idiot of the week.
Will be a 5-time repeat. We'll find out later.
Could be. So with that, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we will get into headlines with the doc right after this.
We really wanted to take a relaxing trip to Florida, just to unwind.
But we can only afford one trip this year, and his high school reunion is coming up in Seattle.
Everyone's going. Then we heard about Hotwire and realized we could actually afford to take both trips.
See, when really nice hotels have unsold rooms, they use Hotwire to fill them. So we got our 4-star hotels for half price.
I should have been voted most likely to travel.
HOTWIRE, hotwire.com.
Save big on car rentals, too, from $11.95 a day.
And welcome back here on Triple Threat Talk. Postmaster Jones, Jimmy Biggers, along with my esteemed co-host, Gary, the Dr. Lockard, and Mr. Ryback, Brandon DeViro.
Wake up.
I'm still asleep.
We tried.
We tried.
Let's try this one. Ryback rules. Wake up. What the?
Anyway. Thank God there's no more TNA questions.
Oh boy. Anyway.
So, Big B, for the 103rd time, we're close to it.
103rd. I'll be like,
Roll the beautiful bean footage.
bean. Bean. Anyway.
Doctor, give me the news. I got the bad case of the headline blues.
Yeah. The quads. Yeah. Yeah.
No Fandango.
Ready to do the headlines, baby.
Headline!
Last
Why
night.
are you yelling?
Last night was a great hockey game, according to those people that like hockey.
Last night was epic.
Last night was very epic.
They almost played a whole second
Longest game in playoff history.
Went to the third overtime.
Stanley Cup Finals Game 1 sees the Bruins go into extra periods with the Blackhawks.
And the Blackhawks
And the
win.
Blackhawks take it down.
The only thing that would have been better if the Bruins won because the crowd would have been more hyped for it because it was in Boston.
That was insane.
It's
It
in
was
Boston.
I didn't see
By
the
the harbor.
I didn't see the whole game, and someone put on Facebook, hockey's still on. It's like, there's no way. It's like 12:30 in the morning.
Still on.
Put on NBC and still there. It's like crazy.
So in 3 minutes or less, Big B is going to take us through the tale of tennis and the construction worker gone wrong.
What?
3 minutes or less. Go.
Go.
Come on
Your time starts
Your time
now.
starts now.
Don't limit me.
Now.
So let's see. Grand Slams they have 4 times a year, and this one, French Open. Not surprised. I had 3 out of the 4 right when I did my predictions. Nadal did win.
You should have 3 out of the 4 right. You're a tennis expert.
Serena did win. Maria did win.
You should have 4 out of 4, right?
That's right. You
Ferrer.
failed.
Here's the thing, though. The semifinal between David Ferrer and Joe Wilfried Tsonga was one of the most lackluster semifinals I've ever seen a countryman play in his own home Grand Slam. I mean, Tsonga looked deflated. I mean, he just didn't look like he wanted to be on that stage. To be honest, he didn't show up at all. It was embarrassed. Like the semifinal before him was Nadal and Djokovic, which was one of the greatest clay court matches you'll probably ever see. One of the greatest matches of all time, clay court wise. And now, Tsonga's on court. Crowd's tired. They're exhausted. And their countryman comes on court, and he can count on the locker room. So
He folded like a French beach chair.
So on the women's side, Sharapova had like I said on the show, she had a pretty close match with Azarenka, but she won it in 3. And then I said on the show, I got the score a little bit lopsided on the other reverses, but I had it. Serena beat Irani 6-love, 6-1. I said 6-1, 6-love, but it was still a massacre. It was pretty lopsided. So now we move to the final. The men's final was we'll go to the women's finals first. I thought Sharapova played very well. She played Serena as tough as I've ever seen Sharapova play Serena, except the time she beat her Wimbledon in 2004. This is the stuff I've seen Serena play. She was attacking her serve. She was hitting the ball very well. She was playing good defense. Just Serena's that much better. 6-4, 6-4 loss. Nothing to be sorry about. I mean, Serena Williams is the best player in women's game, period. There's no one even close to comes to her right now. So regardless of her winning her second French Open title, her 14th Grand Slam, it's very good. I think that was it 16? I think it's 16. I'll have to double check on that. But I mean, great accomplishment for Serena Williams. Probably going to go down as one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest women's player of all time. And move on to the men's side. Another guy here could be considered the greatest of all time when it's all said and done, possibly. Rafael Nadal wins his 8th Grand Slam, his 8th French Open, his 12th Grand Slam title. And it's funny, you think 12. You know, we were at a time when 14 seemed like a lot with Sampras now. Pete Sampras' record isn't the top anymore. Federer's got 17 and Nadal's not too far behind with 12. This final was more interesting for the stuff that happened that wasn't the match. It was people were rioting in the crowds about something, and then obviously a very dangerous situation where a man he had no shirt on. He was wearing just like these brown pants, had like a white mask on.
Looked like a Phantom of the Opera.
I don't know what he was supposed to be, but he came out of the crowd, and I guess no one grabbed him. Whatever. The thing is, this would never happen in the United States. The French, I guess they're more like free flowing in that country, and they don't really monitor as much. If it happened in the United States, if it happened in the US Open, I guarantee he wouldn't have gone on court. They're more heavy security, though. Trust me. So he comes on court, and luckily Nadal is not in his chair because he came out right near Nadal's chair. Who knows what he would have done? But he came with like a flare and started waving, and obviously, Nadal, obviously they made sure he was not going to get any harm done to him. And the guy gets taken off the court, and they put the flare out. And if they find out later that they're protesting the new gay marriage law in France that got passed. So they felt the time of the French Open men's final was the time to protest and say, we don't want gay marriage legalized in this country. We're going to protest the French Open because that really means anything. I don't know why they decided to come out the French
I thought
Open.
the whole thing was odd.
I don't know why they decided to come out the French Open and make a...
Well, because that's their biggest event.
Well, yeah, but it's not the time.
It makes sense.
Well, it's not the time and place.
If you're going to do it, that's the time to do
No,
it.
it's not the time and place.
They knew the guy was French too because he just gave up.
Yes.
This is why we don't get anywhere when it comes to tennis.
Yes.
Anyway, the final was, I mean, after that happened, it didn't seem like the final was really, they couldn't really focus. It seems like they were mentally out of it. Nadal just didn't serve that well after that. They weren't really playing that great. I mean, Nadal does win in straight sets like I thought he would. And they interviewed afterward, and I can tell they weren't really playing. They were really playing it off. But Nadal and Ferrer both said, so John McEnroe after the interviews, they said, like, it was weird what happened, and, I tried to focus, and Nadal, and, they could say what they want, but I guarantee they were scared, because you don't know what's going on with those people in their head. People are crazy sometimes, do certain things, and God forbid, what if Nadal was in that chair, who knows what he would have done with the rope flare. I don't necessarily think that it was anything against Nadal. I just think he wanted to get on court and protest for some unknown reason about gay marriage, but that's one thing or another. So, congratulations to Nadal winning his 8th French Open. First guy in history to win 8 Grand Slams at the same event. Good stuff, good stuff. So now, they move on to there are 2 tournaments going on simultaneously. I'll just say, because there's no one really playing prominent in the women's side. They're in the Aegon Championships, which the men's are as well, and they're also playing in Germany. Also, the men are also playing in the Aegon and Germany. The Gary Weber Open, they're in the quarterfinals. There's some matches that I like to mention. Tommy Haas is in the quarterfinals. He won this title last year. He's going to play Gael Monfils, who's actually backing up his French Open run, so he's still playing doing the grass. It's kind of odd, though. He's saying that he's not going to play at Wimbledon for unknown personal reasons, so hopefully something's not too serious, but he's decided not to play Wimbledon. Kohlstrupp's going to play Mikhail Yuzny. He's having a pretty good tournament here. And Florian Mail's going to play Richard Gasquet, who played really well at the French Open for losing to Stan Wawrinka. And the Aegon Championship has a lot more prominent people there. Andy Murray's first tournament back since the back injury. He's going to play Benjamin Becker in the quarterfinals. Leighton Hewitt played really well, upset Grigor Dimitrov in the first round. That's a huge upset for Hewitt. Grass is his best service, so he's going to have a tough test against the next, and the quarters against Juan Martín del Potro, who's coming back after a slight injury. And then their quarterfinal here, Marin Cilic is playing Tomas Berdych. He looks to bounce back after his defeat in the first round of the French Open against Gael Monfils. So it should be good. Good stuff. Hope, after this is Wimbledon. It's going to be good stuff. Hopefully, Wimbledon's more structured. So hopefully something like this doesn't happen in the final for sure. So we'll see what happens. It's definitely good stuff.
All right, good stuff there. Now, Postmaster, take us through to NASCAR and the tragedy that happened yesterday.
All right, so getting into last Sunday's race at Pocono and the race at Iowa. Yes, there was a double down action with NASCAR last week because the Nationwide Series race in Iowa was rained out till Sunday. So for the first time in a long time, you had Nationwide and Sprint Cup racing at the same time, which is doesn't happen very often. But Trevor Bayne took the rain-delayed Iowa race, the Iowa Speedway race. It was a good week for Trevor Bayne. He had got married just a couple days before, and then he rolled into Iowa and he passed Austin Dillon with less than 10 laps to go to win there. On the Pocono side of things, it was the Jimmy Johnson show, to no surprise, picking up his 3rd win of the Sprint Cup Series, dominating fashion. He led, I think, over 160 of the 200 laps, so pretty much total domination by Jimmy Johnson. Greg Biffle finished up 2nd. Tony Stewart finished 4th, I believe, 3rd or 4th. They move on to Michigan this week, which is also the site of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s last win, and it is on Father's Day, so it's always a good time. It always confused me that NASCAR refuses to run on Mother's Day, but they don't have any problems running on Father's Day.
Because that's what the guys want to watch.
Exactly, and that's the point.
Take your dad to a race.
It's like take
your dad to
a race.
That's right.
So,
Have him go down.
So that's with that, and then getting into some news that we don't like to cover.
Cover more often than we think we do.
And last night at the Bridgeport Speedway, it is a 5/8 mile high banked dirt track in Swedesboro, New Jersey. Jason Leffler, a very prominent individual. As a matter of fact, he was in the race at Pocono. He spent many a seasons as a Nationwide Series regular. He raced trucks. He most recently raced trucks last season for Kyle Busch Motorsports. And this year he drove in the Sprint Cup. As a matter of fact, Pocono was his first start of the year in the Sprint Cup Series. He did pass away in a crash in a 410 sprint car last night. He was pronounced dead shortly after 9 o'clock. State police were investigating this accident along with track officials, and preliminary info indicate that a mechanical failure on the car that led to the loss of control caused the crash. It's definitely hit the racing world rather hard. A lot of the drivers are, as you can imagine, very shook up and upset about this situation. He was a very well-liked individual. A lot of people may know him by his trademark mohawk-type haircut that he always had. And his son Charlie, he loved him like nobody's business. It was cool because he always had his daddy's matching haircut, so you could always tell when they were on the track, at the track together. And our thoughts and prayers definitely to the Leffler family and to his young son Charlie, who no doubt is going to have a tough time, after this situation and this tragedy. There's been a lot of reaction in the racing world, as you can imagine. Many of people just sending their thoughts and prayers and well wishes, and a lot of people just, astonished and in disbelief that this could happen. Shane Meal was in a similar type accident, and he walked away. Wow. So it just goes to show you that you never know. And
your number's called.
These sprint car races, in my mind, are very dangerous. These open wheel sprint cars, I think it has killed more individuals than any other sport as far as racing goes. I'm kind of siding with my dad a little bit, because me and him were discussing this earlier. I almost wish they would outlaw this type of racing because it seems to cause more harm than good. I know they put on a hell of a show. Don't get me wrong, they're fast, they're fun to watch, but they're just too daggone dangerous for me. And I mean, I wish there was a way they could improve their safety like NASCAR's improved their safety, but there's just, it's not a lot to the vehicle to begin with, so there's not a lot you can do from a safety standpoint.
Right.
So we just want to send our thoughts and prayers and well wishes to the Leffler family and all the racing community during this tough time.
Thank you for that. It's definitely, like you said, not something we like to report. There's not a whole lot that they can do to improve the safety because of the structure of those vehicles. Big B, can you throw up an image of one of those vehicles for the people at home?
I can find one.
A matter of fact, Big B, just to let everybody know at home, this is a little graphic, but this is an actual picture of what's left of the car after the wreck, and you can see that there's really nothing to the vehicle itself. And so if you're a little squeamish and you don't want to take a look, just turn your head for a few seconds and we'll throw up a picture of what the car looked like after the incident.
But yeah, it's definitely sad.
It's the risk they run, and sports obviously not the most safest, obviously.
No, and one other quick note also as well, in the Formula One ranks, I know we don't really talk Formula One, but at the Canadian Grand Prix, a track official was killed when he bent over to pick up his, I think it was either his phone or his radio, and the track crew didn't see him and they ran him over and killed him. So definitely a tough way to go. So with that, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll get into some positive headlines and talk about the NBA playoffs and some other things right after this here on Triple Threat Talk.
Another left, and make a left after that one. Yeah! Whoa, taught her everything she knows. Are we there yet?
And welcome back here to Triple Threat Talk. I'm Gary the Dr. Lockhart alongside my co-host, Big B, Brandon DeMuro. Mr. Postmaster Jones, Jimmy Biggers.
Easy. I don't like
So
to be
we are
touched.
we are regrouping after the break, getting into some more positive type of feed.
You're hurt?
Some headlines.
Why are you hurt?
I gave him a nice pat on the back, and he
He
says,
said, "Don't
easily
touch me."
don't touch me.
I didn't say don't touch me. I said I don't like to be touched.
That ain't what you told Cody the other day.
Oh!
That's not funny because that was way too easy. You gotta dig a little deeper than that.
I couldn't. I had to. You threw a lob, and I just smacked it
Getting
on.
into a little bit of football news.
Foosball.
Football.
Seattle Seahawk Richard Sherman, thank you, did test positive for PEDs. So
A while back.
a while back, and then the whole thing resurfaced this weekend. This
I heard
week.
nothing about that.
So
I follow every Seahawk thing out there.
So Jimmy and I were texting about it earlier. It came up. What was the deal? He said he tested. No, let's regroup. All right, I remember. He tested positive for PEDs earlier in the summer, and then a comparison was made.
No, it wasn't a comparison.
Go ahead, take it away.
Thank you.
Jeez.
It was a comparison to Roddy White.
No, it wasn't a comparison to Roddy White. There was a, let's just say Richard Sherman kind of ran his mouth a little bit.
Okay.
He said, and I quote, Roddy White was not a top 50 player.
Okay.
He didn't deserve to be in the top 50. If you don't know, the top 100 players in the NFL came out. I think Roddy White was rated 39th, something like that. Richard Sherman was rated like 51st.
No, Russ Wilson was 51st.
Or something. Richard Sherman was right around there.
I think Sherman was 50.
Yeah. Okay. And Sherman basically said, you're not, fit to be ranked higher than me. I'm better than you. Blah blah blah, causing a stir. And
which was weird since he was on PEDs.
Yeah. And Roddy White's response was basically, don't know what he's talking about. I mean, if you look at the facts are clear today. I'm 11 spots ahead of him. So obviously,
that's an opinion. It's not a fact. It's just opinion. I mean, it doesn't mean like it's a definite fact. I mean, I'm not like supporting the Seattle player. I'm just saying it's not like just because, for example, say like this, the number one is Joe Flacco. Doesn't mean Joe Flacco's the best player in the NFL. You know what I mean?
No, but the reason why you bring it up is why do you even
care?
Huh?
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Why does Richard Sherman want to make a big deal out of nothing?
Why single out Roddy White?
Yeah. Why is he singling out Roddy White? What did Roddy White possibly do?
Maybe because they're both talking trash to each other on the game.
I mean, but that's one game. It doesn't matter. I think this stuff's kind of silly.
It's football.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of pointless if you ask me.
Ugly part of the sport.
Yeah, I mean, you let your egos get in the way, and like I said, he has one good game. They take the Falcons out of the playoffs, and he thinks he's better than everybody. And I just I don't agree. I don't think he's as good as he thinks he is. He needs to check himself, look in the mirror
before he wrecks himself.
Exactly.
Tim Tebow does sign in New England with no guaranteed money, and to compete for backup QB job, he does get the league veteran minimum, which is $600,000. A nice paycheck. I'll take it any day of the week.
Unleash.
$600,000, no guaranteed money, but he does have playing time bonuses.
Yeah, he does get playing time bonuses, and I think he will see the court or the field.
The court.
One of the big things that's being talked about, it was rumored that he was coming in to be a backup tight end while Gronk was recovering. It may still be the case, but Bill Belichick has said that he is competing for the QB job. If anything, he'll be learning underneath Tom Brady.
Bill Belichick didn't say anything.
Bill Belichick.
That was the most pointless press conference I've ever heard in my life.
He said earlier this week, he said that that's what he was being brought in for. He didn't say it during the press conference. He said for it when it was released.
It's like, Bill, what about this?
What about this? I don't know.
Bill, well...
I don't get that.
Bill Belichick. What do you think about Tim Tebow? Who's that?
I'm not at liberty to discuss that at this point. Question 7.
I think it's a good move. I think a lot of this stuff is maybe the slap Rex right in the face a little bit, saying,
of course
hey, maybe I can turn Tebow into a winner, even though he was a winner in Denver. This whole thing is stupid, all right? Tim Tebow has a proven background of success both at the University of Florida and the Denver Broncos. The New York Jets are by far the dumbest organization in the NFL for doing what they did to this young man.
Next to the Jaguars.
Here's the thing. Tim Tebow has a little bit of a learning disorder. We know this. This is fact. And so he can't audible, okay? You don't need to call an audible on every play like Peyton Manning
No,
does.
not everyone's Peyton Manning.
And not everyone is Peyton Manning. So you don't. There are plenty of quarterbacks that don't call audibles, but maybe 1% of the time, and they're successful.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to call an audible. Just because, now, he does need to be able to read defense, and it came out this week that apparently he does have a little bit of trouble reading defense.
Didn't have a problem doing it against Pittsburgh.
He didn't have trouble doing it against Pittsburgh. He didn't have a problem doing it against anybody he played against in Denver. So
the Chiefs he did. But.
I think maybe this was a whole thing. This whole thing was maybe something concocted by the Jets.
Yes.
But even in Florida, he was put down as having a slight learning disorder with ADD. So, time will tell. I still think that this is a great quarterback. I don't think he could play over Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I think he definitely could have played over Sanchez.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
No questions asked. Sanchez and Gabbert, he could have played at both teams. He should have been out last year.
That's Mike Kafka.
There's no chance he plays over Brady.
Mike
though.
Kafka.
Well, no,
Unless Brady gets hurt.
there's a chance. There's a good chance Brady can. Tebow can play over Brady. If the Patriots play someone like the Browns winning like 55-0, Tebow, come on in. I guarantee you.
I don't see the Browns being beat 55-0 by anybody.
Well, I'm saying, for example,
The Ravens might get beat that bad.
I think the Ravens
I'm
are.
saying
The Ravens are going to be horrible.
There could be a time like for example, say the Patriots are like towards the end of the season, they're like 13-2, and they're just trying to rest players. So you can come in and play.
I don't get the Ravens. It's like they win the Super Bowl. Everybody's
Let's
for
sell
sale.
You go to Houston. You retire.
You're there. You're there.
You go to Houston. You go to ESPN.
Like, what are you all doing over there? I don't get it. It's like you
We won! Yay! So goodbye, everybody.
Dumpster fire.
Barrel.
Dumpster fire.
Goodbye, everybody.
Baltimore Ravens. You just went through. What are you going to do now? Release everybody.
I will say this, Doc. I think it is good for Tebow that, the Patriots are giving him a chance. We'll see what happens. But like I told Big B a little earlier, I think if Tom Brady goes down, it won't be Tebow that will be playing. It will be Ryan Mallett.
I think so, too.
Ryan Mallett is a better passing QB. I think
he's had more time under Brady.
He's had more time under Brady. And I think Ryan Mallett will get the nod over Tebow.
I agree. Because unless Tebow beats him out for second.
Well, again, Tebow's not a great practice quarterback. So
No, he's not. And Ryan Mallett came from.
I don't think Tebow could beat. I don't think
killer offense.
I don't think Tebow could outbeat Blaine Gabbert.
I think Tebow could. I think we're going to see Tebow as a tight end until Gronk comes back. When Gronk comes back,
I don't know.
I think he'll be.
Who's to say what Belichick has up his sleeve?
Does Belichick kind of run the same thing Rick's run with Wildcat with him? I don't know if they do that.
No.
He's not that type of.
He's
the one play they did it.
He's the hoodie. He's got more up his sleeve than Rex.
What do they call him? Yoda with the hoodie?
Yes, Yoda with the hoodie. Yes.
Brady passing wheel.
It's Coach Yoda.
10 days after retiring as a player, Jason Kidd named the new head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. Management and front office officials say he did go to the top of the line, but he didn't go in with his chest all puffed out, He got up and drew some plays and showed he had command of the situation. Jason Kidd did spend 6.5 seasons with the franchise where he averaged 14.6 points per game, 9.1 assists per game, and 7.2 rebounds per game. Is Jason Kidd going to be a successful coach?
And 2 straight NBA finals with the Nets.
Yes, 2002 and 2003.
It was 03 and 04. But
It was 2002, 2003. You question my knowledge.
I was a Nets fan back then.
Well, we have proved you wrong plenty of times before.
Once.
I'll check it.
But anyways, I think this is a good hire.
I do too.
I think maybe he should have spent a year as an assistant, but I think overall this is a good hire.
I think it's a more of a desperate move by the Nets because the coaches they had in the past. They had Avery Johnson, who was coach of the year with the Dallas Mavericks at one point, and then P.J. Clifton was a good coach back.
He did a good job.
Yeah. And he got into Jason Kidd. No, he doesn't. He's just type the Nets.
Yeah, I know. He's got type of Jason Kidd too. Jason Kidd in the Nets. Anyway, continue.
Obviously, if there's a bulletproof, if it was a good bullet point.
That was 2003.
Okay, you got one right. What do you do? Put your tongue back in your mouth. This is an X-Pac hour.
Is that what you said to Cody Rhodes last night?
No.
Put your tongue back in your mouth.
Completely different. Anyway, I can't remember what I was talking about. How much time we got left here? We go to break now? How much time we got? Where's your clock at?
Oh, we got plenty.
Anyway,
You said to Cody last night.
if there's any good example for a player that was a good player. Coaching teammates Mark Jackson in Golden State. He was a good player. He was pretty much he was a point guard like Jason Kidd, very good assist, really good to get the offense going. Jason Kidd was good at. And Mark Jackson, he had one of the better teams in the West. I mean, they're the only. For whatever it's worth, they were the only team to beat San Antonio in the playoffs this year, except for the Heat once. But Golden State was a very good team this year. They have a lot of young talent, and I think Mark Jackson proved that a good player can coach more well. It depends what happens with Jason Kidd. I mean, he has a good rapport with Darren Williams. Maybe he can push Darren Williams to that level where people were saying at one time he was a.
They're flogging.
He was a better point guard than Chris Paul.
They are.
People said that before about Darren Williams. So we'll see if he can get him back to the level. The Nets do have some talent. Jason's gonna have to really push them. Does he have that in him? We'll see what happens.
I think Jason Kidd's a very good coach. I think, judging from his own star power as a point guard, I think he could probably coach the position rather well. He's still at that age where he can still get out and run with the kids and run with the men and show them how to play ball. Get in there, get in with the mix a little bit, and say, I'm going to show you by demonstration what I want you to do. And I think that unlike some other coaches in the league, I think that Jason Kidd is also kind of probably say, hey, I was there. I was an all-star point guard. I led this franchise to 2 straight championships. I think I can show you all if you all listen to me as your coach. The NBA has that problem of the players not listening to the coaches sometimes.
They have a good team. They got to the playoffs. They lost the goals, but it was a good series. So they had talent.
I don't think. I think this owner has unrealistic expectations.
Jay-Z?
No, Mikhail Prokhorov.
Oh, okay.
Because he's not better than Miami.
No.
They're not better than Chicago.
Without Derrick Rose, yes. With him,
they're not better than.
I don't even think with Derrick Rose, because they beat him, didn't they?
Well, yeah, barely.
They're not better than the Knicks.
No.
And depending on what they do in free agency this year, they're not better than the Atlanta Hawks. So
I think they're better than Boston. That's what I'm saying.
But so there's 4 teams ahead of the curve already ahead of them. So I think although this is a good experiment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure.
He gets 3 years. Will he get all 3 years? I don't know. Maybe. See what happens.
So last time they did pretty bad, and they
So we'll see. But it's a risk reward thing. I mean, I think from the standpoint of basically you're getting coached by one of your peers. Jason Kidd and Darren Williams won a gold medal together. They're good golfing buddies. So they're well known with each other. I think that's a good thing. But like I said, I think it's a tall task if you think you're going to leap all 4 of those teams in one season.
San Antonio is leading the Heat 2-1 after both teams blew the other out in games 2 and 3. What does LeBron got to do to get on pace with the Spurs, guys?
Tell LeBron James Tell Dwayne Wade to start playing.
I think, here's the thing. I think also one of the keys is LeBron can't only have 6 attempts at the free throw line through game 3. I think
he had 0 attempts
the other night. He's had 6 through game 3 though total.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like he's got to find a way to get to the line more. He's got to be able to penetrate. Got to be able to cause contact. Got to be able to draw contact. And I think one of the things is I think you're right. I think he needs to tell Dwayne Wade he needs to step it up a little bit. I know Wade's knee is hurting him, and Wade also might have a little bit more fatigue going on than what he knows. He's 10 years into the league. He plays every night out there as a starter. That might be affecting him. Chris Bosh has got to step it up, though. It just goes more and more to show you, into my point last week, that Chris Bosh is the one that they need to amnesty a little bit. While they can still get a little something for him, I think amnestying Chris Bosh is the way to go. The benches are producing as much as the starters. Gary Neal for the Spurs with 24 in Game 3. So I think that's, off the bench, that's pretty good production on a team with both Tim Duncan and Tony Parker. But you guys keep looking at the clock, so I'm guessing I'm running low on time. So we'll continue the headlines right after the break here on Triple Threat Talk.
Expected me to be here. No one expected me to be a starter, to hit game-winning shots, or even play in this league. Well, I'm not here to live up to anyone else's expectations. I'm here to live up to mine.
And welcome back to Triple Threat Talk. I am Big B, alongside my colleagues, Postmaster Jones, Mr. Jimmy Biggers, and the guy down there known as the Doc, Gary Locker.
So, Gary Neal for the Spurs comes in with 24 points in Game 3. Ray Allen with 13 for the Heat in Game 2. And Manu Ginobili with 13 for the Spurs in Game 1.
Isn't he a starter?
Huh?
Isn't he a starter?
Manu Ginobili?
Yes.
He does start, but he came in off the bench in Game 1.
Okay.
And then Ray Allen as well, which I don't understand why coaches do that. They have a set number of starters. He was a starter throughout the entire last series, but Game 1 in this series, he came in off the bench. I didn't understand that.
Probably trying something.
Ray Allen as well also had 13 with the Heat on Game 1. So my question is this. With the production of the bench for the Heat has the exact same amount of points as the Big Three. What's the drawback here? What's going on?
I have no idea.
It's Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade all the way. They're not playing up to their total ability. They're not playing up to.
This happened in the last series.
There's only so much that LeBron can do, and LeBron is trying. But here's the thing: LeBron is not. This is where people need to check themselves. LeBron is not Michael Jordan.
No.
He's not going to go out there and score 50, 60, 40 points consistently. LeBron James is Magic Johnson. Right. That's what he does.
Somebody listened to ESPN the other
day. He is Magic Johnson. He is. I mean, with the rebounding and the assists and taking the shots when he knows he has to.
It's not that.
And taking the shots when he knows he should.
It's not just that. It's also the size comparison. Yeah. Because LeBron has a more Magic Johnson type body. I almost said magic body, but then I realized how stupid that would sound. But he's got more of a Magic Johnson type body to the width. Michael Jordan was built, but he was smaller. He had the same kind of frame you do, the muscle built into a tiny package.
Exactly.
So it's one of the things that, I think the comparison, when I was listening to it as well, and I think the comparison is there. The assists, the points per game, the being able to distribute the ball widely, because they're triple teaming LeBron and he's passing it out when he should. Or he's trying to go up and draw contact, and that's not working for him. So he definitely needs to continue to pass the ball, because as soon as he gets the ball, Tony Parker is coming down from the key, and he's getting help from the guy on the wing and the guy underneath the basket, and they're triple teaming LeBron pretty much immediately.
But he can pass the ball at once. If the guys aren't making it, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, if the guys aren't making it, they have got to stop being forced out of 18-foot jumpers.
Yes.
And they've got to start going into
driving the rim.
They've got to start driving the rim and get away from those jump shots. Those jump shots. LeBron now has a jump shot, but he's still developing it.
How about that block the other night?
That was insane. I think, though, the other one was better.
There's a meme about that. I'll explain it later. I'll explain it later.
Explain.
I'll explain it later. It ties to my wild card too. It makes sense. This reminds me. This reminds me of the 2007 NBA final where Cleveland played San Antonio. LeBron didn't do it all by himself. This is what it's. Why does it have to happen to him? It's like his legacy cannot be fulfilled or whatever because he has to do it by himself. When he was with Cleveland, he couldn't win a ring because he had nobody around him. Now he has people around him. They can't produce. They can't do anything. It's just LeBron by himself, and that's not fair.
But see, here's the thing.
And San Antonio looks like a team.
And this is kind of where I'm. This is kind of a trap I put in here. I don't think it's LeBron's fault. And I don't think anything is the Heat's fault. I think the Spurs are just better. We said it earlier in the year too that the Spurs and OKC were the two teams that could beat
OKC with Russell Westbrook.
Right, as a group, we all said this, and I think people are proving they're right. But what is the media doing? The mainstream media is saying LeBron is not doing this, or Wade and Bosh are not doing this, and LeBron is doing what they can.
Wade and Bosh are playing.
It doesn't matter because the Spurs are just.
I agree, San Antonio is a better team. I just didn't think they'd be beating him as bad as they have.
I mean, the first game was one, and I totally agree with what Eric Spoelstra did in Game 3. When they got down 30 points in the fourth quarter, he let the starters in there. There were a couple times where LeBron and Wade wanted to come out, and he said, no, you guys are staying in. This is your mess. You're cleaning it up. I think it was ridiculous that LeBron, this is why people don't like LeBron. He didn't want any part, he didn't want to be in there with the 30 points down. He didn't want nothing to do with that. This is why when LeBron, to me, gets a little unselfish, which he does, he gets a little unselfish and starts playing the ball like he should and starts being a ball player, I'll start to like him a little bit. But then he does stuff like he did the other night and did not want to own that badge of 30 points down. They gave up, and he wanted nothing to be a part of it. Kudos to Eric Spoelstra, even though you lost the game. Kudos to Eric Spoelstra for keeping the starters in and making them earn that, making them wear that badge of 30 points down and giving up.
I mean,
kudos.
Where's his head at? I mean, does he? I mean, there's times that's going to happen. There's been times in numerous amount of sports, in tennis, football, every sport out there. Teams are blown out. They don't just give up. They try to come back, and usually they don't.
I liked Greg Popovich, what he did.
Are we up this much?
Do what?
There was a time, he was talking to one of the assistant coaches. I can't remember which one it was.
No, I'm not talking about what he did in Game 3. I'm talking about what Greg Popovich did in Game 2.
Oh.
He knew there was no chance he was going to win, so he pulled all the starters, gave them extra rest, and look what happened. They come out in Game 3 and they just blew the doors off the Heat. I think what he did was better than what Spoelstra did, because I realize that I see your point of, we're down 30, you're staying in the game, but also you got to take into consideration, what if LeBron broke his leg during being down 30 points?
I still think
he has
to learn.
Right.
You know?
But there comes a point when it don't make any sense to leave him out there.
Let me ask you this. If I am a CEO for a major company, all right? If I'm a CEO for a major company, and I drive us to almost bankruptcy, and at the split second, I retire and throw it on Big B, inevitably, the company is going to come back and blame Big B because he is the current CEO. Is that fair?
That sounds like actually real scenario.
Is that with you?
That sounds like that could possibly happen.
Is that right? Is that would that be right of me to do? No. So I think Spoelstra did the right thing. I see what you're saying. What if LeBron and them got hurt? Well, I got news for you. They gave up last night anyway, so they were playing like they were hurt anyway. Well, they were hurting everybody who was watching that game because it was a snooze fest.
I just think that from the standpoint of when it comes to the game itself, I mean, you see it a lot in football. When a team gets up a lot, they pull their starters. I mean,
football's a rougher game. Yeah. I think they need to pull the starters.
It may be the case, but I think the Spurs players are older. They're
still beating the younger guys.
Right, but what I'm saying is, the fact that they pulled the guys, I thought was, I was fine with that, and I think it paid off, and we'll find out tonight. Well, actually, tomorrow, but it's tonight.
Yes.
Games 4 is tonight, and we'll find out what happens for sure.
Different.
But, so, here's what I think. Jason Loeffler, I think, was a tragic story, but this is what I think is the big story. It broke today. The NCAA ditching domes prior to the Final Four. I think this is a great move because we were talking about this throughout the course of the NCAA tournament. And these big domes that hold like 100,000 people getting these small events. So now, getting these, games that aren't small events. I'm sorry, there was a misspeak on my behalf. But these crowds that, you're looking at a small court. And that's 100,000 people packed in looking all in one direction like ants on a board. Well, after 2016, the NCAA committee is opening it up and letting anybody apply for a Final Four to be held there. The domes are no longer going to be part of regionals like this year. Cowboy Stadium with Arlington, Texas was a home of a regional, which was absolutely absurd. But they had to test run it to make sure that the facilities could hold a Final Four. Of course it can. It's $1 billion facility. Are you kidding me?
Jerry's Playground.
But all a Final Four needs is 60,000 people. It goes on to this. I'm not going to read the entire article. Basically, the article is saying that Final Four attendance is averaging 60,000 people. It's all you need to be able to hold is 60,000, not 100,000. There are plenty of venues that are small and compact and nice enough to hold a 60,000 person event.
Venues that are not a dome that would hold that many.
I know, even though this is against it, but I mean, the finals between Louisville and Michigan was in the Georgia Dome. It filled. It was pretty much full. So.
It was one of those. They also did not fill the top. The Georgia Dome. What they don't show you, the Georgia Dome has 4 layers. Mm-hmm. None of those are filled.
Yeah, I remember being the Georgia Dome. It's a tall stadium, so not everything is filled. Yeah. So look up.
Look up.
I'm trying to. I don't know of any arenas.
The youngster's like what, 25?
Yeah, the youngster holds 25, but. I think they could hold a Final Four there. We used to hold them in Rupp and Freedom Hall.
Rupp could do it. I don't know if Yum would do it, though. I don't know if it's not big enough.
Yum is bigger than Rupp.
Yum holds about 2,000 more people.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it holds about 2,000 more people.
I'm trying to think.
But at the same time...
It is tough.
It is tough. I can't think of any...
How about outdoor? That's 20,000.
That's it?
Yeah, it's almost 20,000.
Madison Square Garden.
Well, 20,000.
It only holds 20,000.
It's still a good venue.
Yeah. How about outdoor stadiums? How about outside?
Wembley Stadium.
How about in Seattle?
But yeah, it's one of those things that we're like...
Take up the court at Wimbledon and hold it over to England.
Play on grass, basketball grass.
But these people
don't bounce anywhere.
I think it's a great move.
It is good, but my only problem is I can't find a frickin' arena.
How about the U.S. Open? Right?
There we go.
How many does the Staples Center hold? Off top, you think?
I
don't even think they hold
30 or 40.
30 or 40.
I don't think
no basketball venue holds.
I don't think there's any indoor arena that holds $60,000.
We'll look that up after the break.
I guess you could look up all the NBA stadiums, see which holds the most.
I don't even think any of them hold $60,000.
I would say Staples probably holds the most. I would think.
Either that or the new stadium in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
maybe.
But yeah, so this is definitely a good start, a good step in the right direction.
Really sure, unless we can find indoor arenas.
It doesn't matter though, because if you think about it, it doesn't matter where they hold it. These places are absurdly big. If I pay $200 for a ticket, I don't want to see ants on the floor. I want to see a game up close. The fact of the matter is this is a great step toward the direction. No matter if you can think of a stadium off the top of your head or not, this is a great step in the direction that they need to go.
Make the big games important for
because if I go, I want to have a good seat. I want the money I paid for having a good seat. And I tell you, the next thing they need to change is these stupid lotteries a year before the Super Bowl, a year before the Final Four. Because if I pay that money, damn it, I want to see my team play.
I mean, you work hard for the money.
The whole thing, exactly.
So hard for it, honey.
So hard for it, money. So I can't remember the rest of it. I was going to totally go in there.
Sorry.
But anyways, I was going to go along with you that, but I couldn't remember the words.
Stop it.
But the fact of the matter is, there are a lot of things in college sports that needs to change because ticket prices are going up for no reason whatsoever other than the fact that because buck for buck, I can get a better seat sitting at home. I choose to go for the environment and to be part of the environment. That's all you're paying the ticket for.
Yeah. I mean,
my love.
You get a better seat at home watch Super Bowl.
Exactly. So,
I don't get
and see the commercials too. I got it. They should play at a playground. That's where they should play.
Yes, they should play in a gymnasium at a high school.
Play at Bellarmine.
And before we go on break, we'll say that due to scheduling conflicts, the pentathlon will start next week. We did not get a chance to.
Did we announce that while I was gone?
Yeah, we did.
Well, you weren't here.
What's what? Because I didn't make my decision. Neither did you.
You said go-karting.
But you didn't make your decision. You told me you were going to save it for
I thought you said 21.
Huh?
I thought you were going to pick 21.
No, that was
Make up your minds, will you? By the way, quick note that I forgot to tell you about NASCAR. At the June 29th NASCAR race at Kentucky Speedway, Brian Vickers will drive the number 55 University of Louisville National Championship car.
They were talking about that.
That's pretty amazing.
They were talking about how that actually might be a bad idea because the majority of the people in that area are Kentucky fans. And he was probably going to get booed.
I think the fact that they did it for UK last year, it's cool that they're doing it for you.
I agree. I agree with that point.
That's my only statement.
I'm worried that Brian Vickers is going to get booed out of the daggone stadium.
I don't care. I just think it's cool U of L's going to be on a NASCAR. I'm excited about it. So with that, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get into the wonderful world of professional wrestling.
Payback.
We got Payback.
And also Snorback.
Our weekly OVW recap with our good buddy Brian Cannon. Wild card and Idiot of the Week. Right after this, Triple Threat Talk.
Good call on the original recipe.
Yeah, good call.
Love this stuff.
Yeah, totally. I kind of wolfman down. What's the matter? I think I ate the bones. I think I ate the bones. I ate the bones. I ate the bones.
Settle down.
I ate the bones.
KFC original recipe. Now available without the bone. Freshly prepared white or dark meat chicken, boneless and skinless. Try 2 delicious mouth-watering pieces in a combo for only $4.99. Today tastes so good.
Here we are back on the Triple Threat Talk. Postmaster Jones, Jimmy Biggers, along with the doc.
Discussing
Gary
shapes.
Doctor,
Discussing
and Big B,
shapes
Brandon
and
DeMuro,
sides.
talking about geometry.
So
You don't want that to be last.
It is
No,
last.
that's last.
no, it's not going to be
Yes,
last.
it is. That's the main event. We already said that.
All right.
Remember?
Main event
All right.
of the evening.
Pentathlon.
Why do you get 2 and we only get 1?
You don't. 21 was something we all agreed
No,
on.
he didn't agree to that. He can't play basketball. You forget.
Says you. It says you. I can play.
He's going to win one event.
Somebody-
Tennis. That's it.
And he might not win that.
He's going to go 1 and 4.
No. I don't think so.
You're not going to win at go-karts.
That's just driving.
Well, I can tell you this. I have an advantage at go-karts. If you don't know why, then it's kind of silly, but you can figure out why I have an advantage at go-karts. He'll have the advantage in the longest drive contest.
Mini golf is anyone's game.
Mini golf is anybody's game. And 21, and if you get hot at the free throw line, you can win.
Exactly. So, the pentathlon order of events. Number 1, the first event next week coverage will be tennis. We'll play that sometime this week.
Sometime.
Big B will be that is Big B's event of choosing. Was tennis.
Number 2 will be 21.
That was a mutual.
That was a mutual.
What about pool? Billiards.
Number 3 will be
He
go-karting.
has a pool table.
Yeah.
We could actually do that if you wanted to.
Number 3 will be go-karting.
I wonder who chose that. Who chose that?
I'm going
I
left and
wonder.
right.
Number 4 will be the longest drive option. The longest drive
Show with
contest.
Adam Sandler.
Yep. And number
And
5
number
will
5
be mini
will
flogging.
be the mini flogging. So, next
right through
week,
the window.
Triple Threat Talk coverage of us playing tennis.
Oh my God.
It's going to be epic.
Big B's going to crush us all. It'll last
telling
like
you.
10 minutes at most.
It'll be like the 1988 final with Steffi Graf. 32 minutes.
It'll be over and done like this.
Anyway.
So, our good friend Brian Cannon with the weekly OVW report.
Well, I wouldn't say good friend.
He's a great
We
friend.
barely know it.
Take it away, sir.
Hey everybody, Brian Cannon with another edition of OVW Mania here on Triple Threat Talk for episode 103. I'm going to hop right into it because I've got several things that I want to discuss today. First of all, Big B and the Doctor hit on it last week, but Alex Silva and Doug Williams have both been released from their TNA contracts and presumably OVW as well. Doug Williams was being used as a trainer down here, and he was getting arrested too, of course. But he'll be fine. He's a very talented wrestling technician, and he can move on to other things. The trainees of OVW will be okay. They're still in good hands with Rip Rogers, Nick Dinsmore, Danny Davis, Al Snow, and all of them. Alex Silva's release kind of surprised me. He was the first gut check winner, and even though there was some controversy whether he was supposed to get the contract or not because of Ric Flair changing his vote, he was still the first one. And he's very talented, a very cool dude. I've talked to him several times before. And he's still young. He's only 23. So whenever and wherever he resurfaces, whether he ends up back in OVW or elsewhere, I think he'll be better than ever before. Also, I'm taping this after the episode of Impact that aired on Thursday night, June 6th on Spike TV. Taylor Hendricks made an appearance. She got a match against OVW alumni Mickey James. That also featured an OVW alumni and the referee, ODB. It was a losing effort, but she made a good showing, and she also shouted out OVW during the match, which I thought was pretty cool. Also, speaking of TNA, with me covering OVW, I should talk a little bit about what's going on with them, with OVW being the official developmental league of TNA Impact. I'm like a lot of people, where TNA frustrates me sometimes on some of their decision making, whether it's wrestlers that they push or don't push, just some of their different choices. But I'm hoping they continue to grow, continue to get better. The better they do, the more they up their game, the more it's going to force other organizations, specifically WWE, to up their game, and it's going to be better for wrestling all around, for both the superstars, the fans, anyone affiliated with the product. So I'm hoping they continue to grow and everyone benefits because of it. And something else that leads me to is TNA will actually be coming here to Louisville for Impact Thursday, July 18th. I'm interested in going, hoping to get some good seats, hope it's a good show. And I've talked about going with Big B, PostMaster, and Michael Rickard. So hopefully that comes to fruition. We get to go and have a good time. But by the time this episode airs, the following day on Friday, June 14th, tickets will be on sale at all Ticketmaster locations. You can also order tickets by phone or online, whether you live in this area or not, if you plan on coming to that Impact show that will be at the Broadbent Arena Thursday, July 18th. And I'm really interested also with them coming to town and whether or not that Wednesday before, which will be July 17th, if we don't see some TNA Impact talent pop up at the OVW television taping. I think that would be really cool if TNA sent some guys down in advance, kind of see what's going on at the Davis Arena, and it'd be a treat for all the fans as well. So I'm going to take a really quick break, and when we get back, we're going to talk about OVW over the last week. We're going to go back to the June 1st SNS and then hit on episode 720.
Thursday Night Impact Wrestling Live is coming to Louisville on July 18th. Experience the action, feel the emotion as Spike TV cameras roll live. See Hulk Hogan, Jeff Hardy, The Icon Sting, Kurt Angle, Bully Ray, Aces and Eights, the TNA Knockouts, and many more on July 18th. Be a part of history as Impact Wrestling is broadcast live around the world from Broadbent Arena at the KEC. Tickets starting at $15 are on sale this Friday at Ticketmaster.com.
So I'm going to hit on SNS first. That was on June 1st, 2013. I'm going to hit on the biggest things that happened. The OVW TV title was successfully defended by Randy Royal. He continues to win by any means necessary. He defeated Rockstar Spud with a pair of brass knucks. Despite Taylor Hendricks interfering, Trina was able to successfully defend the women's title against Heidi Lovelace. In what I consider to be arguably the match of the night, Jamin Alvencia successfully defended the OVW heavyweight title against Mr. Spectacular Jesse Goddard. And then the main event of the evening was Michael Hayes and Muhammad Ali Vaez. They successfully defeated the Generals of the Coalition, Crimson and Jason Wayne. But after the match, they were attacked by the rest of the Coalition, Delta Team Bravo, Joe Coleman, Gillyman, and the war continues on. Luckily, Rob Terry and some others came out at the end of the night to run the Coalition off as Crimson was trying to powerbomb Michael Hayes on a steel chair. That leads us into episode 720, which had a short roster because they actually had two shows when they filmed this on Wednesday, June 5th. They had a second show going on in Russell County at the fairgrounds. Superstars like Sam Shaw, Cliff Compton, Paradise, Lady Tapa, Marcus Anthony, the Blossom Twins, Rob Terry were all out at that show. But even with that going on, they still were able to have a good show at the Davis Arena and set up two big matches for the next SNS Saturday Night Special on July 6th. Now the show started off with Ali and Michael Hayes coming to the ring and calling out the Generals for their cowardly attack after they defeated them at SNS. Crimson comes out by himself and says they must have hit their heads when they got up. He says that Jason Wayne is receiving medical attention at a local Louisville VA hospital and will not even be able to make it tonight. And Michael Hayes challenges Crimson to a match, which Crimson goes and gets in the ring, and as they start fighting, the rest of the Coalition comes out and attacks Ali from behind and then gets in the ring and starts attacking Hayes. Ali gets back to his feet, grabs a steel chair, and runs the Coalition off. And then the main event for the evening was Michael Hayes and Crimson. They fought later. But first, going on to some other things, Rudy Switchblade in the next match beat Dylan Bostic. Jamin came out for an interview and told everyone that he successfully defeated Jesse Goddard, who snuck into a championship opportunity at SNS. He defeated Doug Williams, even though Doug tried several times to do different things to, basically cheat and win or make excuses to try to win or keep the title. And then he says that his next Saturday Night Special opponent, the new number one contender, is the Welsh Colossus, Rob Terry. He says many people might think of it as David versus Goliath, but he doesn't. He's not afraid, and he's ready for Rob Terry come SNS. Backstage, Randy Royal approaches Tony Gunn. He finds out that Tony has asked for a TV title shot against him tonight, and Tony says it's for his own good. And then we see referee Chris Sharp with a message from Danny Davis to Crimson telling him that the rest of the coalition is banned from his match tonight against Michael Hayes. We have a rematch from SNS earlier in the night. Also, on a backstage thing, we see where Taylor Hendricks tells Heidi that she's all upset about what happened at SNS, and Trina's still, talking bad. So Heidi says she's going to take care of it, and she apologizes for not getting the job done at Saturday Night Special. Trina's about to win in the match, which she ends up winning by disqualification, but Taylor Hendricks and Nikki St. John both come out and attack Trina and end up giving her a pedigree-like maneuver and leaving her laying. So it looks like there's a possibility that Taylor is working herself back into the number one contendership spot for the OVW Women's title, and we might soon see her and Trina in a match for that title. Jay Bradley was able to beat Ryan Howe with the boomstick. After the match, he grabs the microphone and says, Jamin shouldn't forget about him, buddy. He said while he's out talking about his next match against Rob Terry and climbing mountains and all that, he said that he was beating Sam Shaw on pay-per-view. And he says not only does he have a chance now for to get his hands on the TNA World Heavyweight title, but he doesn't mind making a pit stop and taking the OVW Heavyweight title away from Jamin as well. The TV title on the line between Royal and Tony Gunn. Tony Gunn besting Royal the entire match, so Royal fakes heart problems that gets Tony Gunn all concerned, and then Royal ends up rolling him up for the victory. And then, of course, the main event was Hayes and Crimson. Hayes had Crimson rolled up, but referee Chris Sharp was taken out earlier. And Jason Wayne, who was supposedly receiving medical attention at a VA hospital, runs out and rolls Crimson over on top of Hayes and ducks under the ring. Ali was watching what was going on, runs back out, and puts Hayes back over on top of Crimson again in the small package. And he goes and hides under the ring. And when Sharp turns around, he's able to count the 1, 2, 3 for Hayes. Jason Wayne pops up and can't believe that Hayes got the win because he didn't realize Ali had came out behind him and rolled Hayes back over on top. And then Ali grabs the mic and says that once again at the next Saturday Night Special on July 6th, him and Michael Hayes will be taking on Crimson and Jason Wayne in a tag match, and this time it'll be for the OVW Southern Tag Team titles. That's it for this week. Don't forget to check out ovwmania.blogspot.com. You can find more details on the other matches that happened at Saturday Night Special on June 1st. More details on dark matches and other things that happened on the latest TV episode, which was 720. And all that sort of stuff. So, this is Brian Cannon signing off.
He didn't mean Big. He didn't mean it. Big B didn't mean it.
Big B didn't mean that.
He didn't mean it.
You gotta understand, he didn't take his pills yet, and it's that time of the month for Big B.
He's menstruating.
He's a little persnickety at the moment, so you gotta
persnickety.
You gotta get him a break.
He's menstruating a little bit, so Sorry, his hormones are a little out of place.
I'm not sure this is the right language for the show.
On to WWE Payback.
Thank you, Mr. Cannon. We want to thank OVW for everything they do for us. Thank you, Terry and Cheryl Bodie. That's right. I'm on a streak lately. He's going streaking.
Just don't streak.
We want to thank OVW for everything that they do for us, past and present, and will continue to do for us in the future.
Present.
Go on to the big WWE.
So, Dolph Lundgren,
Wow.
what do you think about your match against Rocky Balboa? If he dies, he dies.
I must break.
That was what he said when Apollo Creed was on the ground.
No, he challenged him before that.
So he said,
anyway,
if he dies, he dies.
I must break you.
So, WWE Payback. Basically, Raw was a build-up for that, so we won't mess around.
You say back, I'm going to say right back.
So, 1, 2, 3. For the second pay-per-view in a row, we have a full card to talk about.
What?
I don't know. The pre-show main event match. The YouTube / Facebook / Twitter / WWE app /
MySpace.
Sponsored by...
/ who the hell cares? Let's just get the name of the match. That's right.
Easy.
I said slash.
Sheamus versus Damian failed.
Slash from
Slash.
Guns N' Roses.
That's what I said.
Sheamus
Slash. Who
versus
the hell
Damian
cares?
Sandow.
I pick Slash.
I pick slash.
I pick Sheamus.
What is it?
Sheamus and Sandow.
I'm picking Sheamus.
I'm picking Sheamus. The Divas title is on the line.
No, Divas.
Caitlyn versus AJ.
I'm picking the crazy bitch.
Whoa.
Watch your tongue.
What? I can say it's a female dog. AJ Lee.
Woof. I pick AJ.
Start it up.
Light it up.
Light it up. I pick AJ. The U.S. title's on the line.
Dean
Ambrose.
of the Shield.
1/3 of the Shield.
Which I'm not happy about that, I'll tell you.
Takes on Kane.
I'm taking Dean.
I pick Dean's Milk.
Huh.
I pick Dean.
By the way, I'm not happy that they lost on SmackDown.
Who?
The Shield.
Why?
In a triple threat match against Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, and somebody else. They lost for the first time.
Really?
Yeah. On SmackDown.
Who cares?
I picked Dean Ambrose. The Intercontinental title's on the line. We already picked that. We all said Curtis Axel.
Wade. Bahrain.
Wade.
Curtis, Gears, and Axels.
The tag team titles are on the line. The Shield versus Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan.
I'm picking Orton and Bryan.
I'm picking the Shield, and I say one of them goes heel. I'm going to say... I think Bryan goes heel because I think in the summer he's going to challenge John Cena for the WWE title. So I'm going to pick Bryan. I'm going to pick the Shield. I say Bryan goes heel.
You're picking Orton.
I'm picking the Shield, but I'm saying Bryan goes heel.
Ah.
Pay attention.
I'm picking the Shield as well.
Shield.
Chris Jericho versus a mystery opponent.
I pick Mr.
Not really.
Not really.
I'm picking CM Punk.
Pick Punk.
I picked the guy from Chicago.
Del Rio versus Ziggles for the World Heavyweight title.
Ziggles.
I think I'm going to take Ziggles on that one.
I'd say
Just
Zigzag.
one anyway.
In the 3 stages of sleep match.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
John
You
Cena,
can say that.
the champ,
Yeah, that's fine.
puts his title on the line
Okay.
in a lumberjack match, a tables match, and an ambulance match against Skip Sheffield.
Who?
I'm going to pick Skip Sheffield.
I mean Ryan Reed.
I know
Yeah,
John Cena's going to
Ryan
win,
Reeves.
but I'm picking Skip Sheffield out of protest.
Or Ryback.
I'm picking Ryback.
Wake up!
Snorback.
Snorlax. Well, Snorlax has appeared. Wild Ryback has appeared. I pick Cena.
I picked John Cena.
Snorlax.
Like I said, I know Cena's going to win. I'm just picking Ryback.
Wild
out of
Snorlax
protest.
appeared.
And the pay-per-view will be held at Casa de Fallbush.
Oh, all right.
So that's
like
already
it over
been
there.
finalized.
My
and-
little dog friend.
and approved. So with that, we will now get into the Wildcats. So Doc, do you have a wild card?
I did, but I lost it.
That sounds about right.
Big B?
Your wild card?
Yes, I do.
Oh, what's your wild card?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't
I
matter.
ask you first.
Okay.
Follow loose.
All right,
He's
so
got to be last at everything. You haven't figured that out by now?
I noticed.
No, I'm giving you more time because you know he'll ramble for 7 minutes.
That's true.
So continue.
Buck and Five did ask a question regarding what I was most interested about E3. If you don't know what E3 is,
It's a ranch.
So this is why I ramble, because you
It is a ranch.
You delay me.
E3 is a ranch.
You delay. No, I'm thinking of.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay.
it's the Electronic Entertainment Expo. It takes place every year in the second week of June out in California. And my wild card, and this is what I was talking about before about the meme with LeBron James blocking Thiago Splitter. If you didn't already know, if you don't follow E3, Sony just completely annihilated Microsoft in every shape or form in their conference. And there was a meme. LeBron James, like they put the Sony logo over his face, and Thiago was Xbox, and he just blocked the shot. That was pretty funny. There's a bunch of them out there. Trust me.
A meme.
A meme.
A meme.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them out there.
of me.
Yeah, E3 was very good. I thought pretty much Microsoft said everything wrong, and Sony said everything.
That's the truth.
Sony said
Microsoft is a bunch of idiots.
Sony said everything right.
Sleepy, you idiot.
Microsoft is planning for a future that's not here yet. They're planning for a future where the internet works 100% of the time, and they're planning for a future where it's everything just hunky dory.
I don't even think it's that. I think Microsoft is planning for a future where everything is money is literally falling out of the sky.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Everyone knows about the console and what's wrong with it, about all the stuff that's restricted, and you can look it up everywhere. But the one thing that put me off was the CEO of Xbox, John Major, I believe is his name, and he was in an interview with Jeff Keighley, who's on Game Trailers. It's actually on the internet, so you can read a bunch about it as well. But it's an interview, and he was asking about if someone can't connect to the internet, or they don't have internet access or whatever. He basically said, well, if you can't, he didn't say this exactly, but in layman's terms, just summarizing pretty much, he basically said, if you can't get on the internet, don't buy our system. Just stick with the Xbox 360. Why would you say that?
What an idiot.
So he is saying, basically, now here's the thing, right? We all have internet. People in this country have internet. But it's life. Internet goes down from time to time. It happens. That's how the world works. Internet goes down. There's outages. These things happen. So you're telling me if I buy an Xbox One and my internet's down for 3 days in a row, I can't play it? How stupid does that sound? It sounds pretty stupid. Sounds pretty stupid to me.
I didn't have to read it.
And back to the E3 aspect of the games. There were a lot of good games shown. Kingdom Hearts 3 was shown. Final Fantasy 15 was shown. Madden looked good.
Madden always looks good.
It's pretty much just like the conference was. The whole convention was pretty much just Sony just saying everything right and Microsoft saying everything wrong, and this whole DRM thing about used games. It seems like Sony is just the console for the typical gamer, and Microsoft is in this fantasy world where people think they have all this money to drop, and it's Microsoft not being smart about this thing, and people don't have $500 to drop on your console. And I guarantee if they didn't come with that stupid Kinect, it'd be $400. But they want to bundle it and push their stupid Kinect on people, which watches you 24 hours a day.
You can turn it off.
The console doesn't work. The Kinect cannot.
No, they said you can turn it off in security features.
No.
Because at first that was the miss thing, or else this would have been the dumbest idea ever.
Yeah.
But it is against the law for them to be able to make it not turn off because of security, private security.
Still, they're not.
But yeah, you're right, because it functions better when it's on.
There's a video that I watched today that you can. I'll link it. It was if a girl with an Xbox One. It is hilarious. Definitely check it out. It is very, very funny. I'll show it to these guys after the show's over. It's very funny.
A girl was an Xbox.
So that's my wild card. I love this time here with E3. The console wars are over. Sony wins by landslide. Microsoft, you need to fix your business strategy.
All right. Just a real quick wild card for me. Last week I attended the Country Music Association Music Fest in Nashville, Tennessee. The CMA Fest, 4 days of concerts and fun. It was really good stuff.
Was it fun?
Yep. If you're a country music fan or a music fan, period, it was good stuff. You had special surprises: Lenny Kravitz, Kid Rock, Sheryl Crow, Kenny Rogers. Yeah, Jason Aldean, who was not scheduled, showed up. Tim McGraw, also, who wasn't scheduled, was there. They did the Highway Don't Care, which I really liked that song.
Like 3D glasses.
But it was a good time. Got to meet a couple artists.
Did you meet Kenny Rogers?
I did not meet Kenny Rogers, no.
That was my wild card. I'm glad you said that.
Disappointment.
The weather, the weather was really good.
You have to wrap it up.
And it was outstanding. So take it away.
I didn't mean to.
It's all good. Go ahead.
You know what? Okay. All right. It's quick. Something today was announced yesterday that the filming on 3D of everything is going to be ending by the end of this year. ESPN is logging out, as it were, from the 3D business. They're going to not be filming anything else in 3D.
So basically 3D TVs are obsolete.
Pretty much, and Disney will be following suit. That was what my wild card was when he said that. But, after this, we'll wrap up the show.
No, we're good. Go ahead.
We're good? Okay. Well, you go with Idiot of the Week?
Idiot of the week.
Idiot of the week is, I think we're going to have to name, we talked about this a little bit earlier, so, Richard Sherman of the Seattle Seahawks.
You're on this week's Triple Threat Talk Idiot of the Week. Come on here, Idiot of the Week.
Idiot of the Week.
Chime in.
Get into it.
Anyway,
So,
end the show?
yes.
End the show.
The show, as always, if you want to like us on Facebook, please do it at facebook.com/triplethreattalk. You can follow us on Twitter at triplethreattalk. You can send any comment or question you have, and of course, your blogs at triplethreattalk at yahoo.com. Thank you to Terry and Cheryl Bodie for all that they do for the website.
You got it right.
I know, I'm a professional, unlike the two of you. Thank you for joining us. This is Big B.
This is Postmaster Jones, and Big B's far from a professional, but that's neither here nor there.
This is Gary the Dr. Locker, and I'm second with Postmaster.
This is Big B signing off. Let me end it on a positive note. Happy Father's Day this Sunday.
Happy Father's Day.